Alright, video number 2 for today, maybe my last one. I got a backlog of videos to do. Oh wait, I got one more to do. So maybe I'll do another one. I'm playing with the lighting in my, again, plug the Ambassador Cigar Lounge out of Troy, Michigan, just north of Detroit. In the library where I do some work. And playing with some lighting. So, I don't know, I kind of look like shit in all the lighting. But I had the other light on. We'll see if this is better. See what I like. Anyway, not important. All right. Replacing the feels. That's what we're talking about here. Replacing the feelings. Because it's all about your feelings, right? So, let's talk about some dysfunctional shit. Some of you ladies do. And some of you guys, too, in fact. But I notice it more common with the females. That what you do instead of making yourself better when relationships end. Okay, so your relationship ended. Maybe you were a shitbag. Maybe he was a shitbag. Maybe you both were. Who knows? But it couldn't continue. So what happens? Okay, you're kind of faced with two choices when a relationship ends. Maybe three. Okay, well, maybe more than that. But here's a couple of common choices are this. You can take all of those. So when the relationship ends and all that, it leaves a void. Okay, so now there's this void and a lot of empty and bad feelings are sitting there, and you just, it's that maybe, especially if you are high attraction with the other person, you guys had a lot of sex. It wasn't a slow decline into an ending, but it was more of an abrupt ending. Okay, it leaves a massive emptiness and a void there that there's an inclination to just want to replace those old feelings. All right. Now, you could take all that pain and all of that emptiness and that addiction, that lack of dopamine, lack of oxytocin, all those things you're not getting, and you could take all that negative shit energy, all of those, that uneasy, anxious feeling you have now that you don't have somebody. You can take all that and you can take all that pain and you can channel it into making yourself better. Okay, you can be a better version of yourself, work on your business, work on who you are on the inside, work on your personal way of managing your emotions, your psychology, and all of those things, so you can be better for a better person than your ex. Okay, so you make yourself better so the next relationship you're actually with somebody better in a better relationship. It would be nice if people leveled up their relationships every time. What's funny is that they don't, especially women. Okay, why? Because the emotional side of things is very powerful and strong for the ladies, all right? So what you instead do is you monkey branch. Your relationship's ending, or it's toxic, or you couldn't make it work. So you're gonna monkey branch with any motherfucker to try to fill that hole. Literally the hole, okay? You're pretty much fulfilling yourself with other dicks. All right, and I know it's not all the dick, it's also the other feels, but it's just the feels, okay? You have that emptiness, and if you're emotionally weak, which, sorry, but a lot of you are emotionally weak, you can't just suffer through the pain and be a better person. What you end up doing is looking to get that next drug hit, and any person will do. Okay, so you spread yourself out there, you look out the options, and you pick up that next option, and you rationalize how he's somehow better than your ex, or better than that guy, or he's still good. And it's so pathetic to hear some of the rationalizations for some of these douchebags that you ladies pick up, because all you're doing is you found a penis to replace the last guy. And you just pretty much, this is what has been termed the cock carousel for a reason. You're just replacing feels with penis, and then the next penis, and then the next penis. It's like your sexual history for a lot of you ladies is one continual diagram of penis that just goes like this. Okay, it looks like a stock market chart. So you might have a lull that doesn't last more than 2-3 weeks or a month, and you just all the dicks until you finally are all dicked out and you're not as attractive as you were, and then you better settle down with somebody. And then it's like literally you're playing roulette with your sexual strategy, hoping that ball finally lands on somebody who's worth a shit when you no longer can secure as good of a sexual option. And you'll do this through your 20s, late 20s, early 30s, and somewhere around maybe late 20s, early 30s, depending on your own level of attractiveness, that ball finally lands on somebody. But that person it lands on isn't any better or worse than the guys that you first started dating, because you haven't done shit, okay? You've done nothing to improve yourself. All you've done is grab a bunch of baggage, take your baggage and take it into the next relationship, and then dump that shit in that guy's house, okay? And if that one doesn't work out because he's a lower value guy, then maybe the last one, all right? Or it doesn't work out because your baggage now is more than you did previously. Then it ends and the process starts all over again. How about try this? Try actually working on your baggage outside of a fucking relationship, weirdos. Okay? You're not working on shit when you're just transferring all your crap from one penis to the next. All right? All you're doing is transferring baggage. And if you're emotionally weak, that's what you're doing. It's very rare that I see a woman who can just be alone for a few months. Just be by yourself, you know what I mean? And get fucking therapy, get coaching, pick up a book, get a morning routine, work on a goal, okay? Work on some things that will make you better. Don't try to figure out the guy. This is what y'all do. Y'all try to figure out the dude, okay? Like, why is he... And all it is you trying to rationalize why he's not the one. Maybe you're not the one. Do you ever think of that? Maybe you're the problem. Perhaps, think for a second. If you're on your 10th, 15th, 20th relationship scenario, okay? And it all ended similarly, you're probably the problem. If it all ended where you love bomb the dude, or you're in this thing and everything's great, and all of a sudden you don't think he's so great, and then you end up cheating on the guy, let's say that's how your cycle, maybe that's probably you're the problem, right? Or maybe he cheats on you, or he turns into be a bad person in the end, and that's been your pattern. That's probably because you're picking the wrong guys and doing the wrong shit with those wrong guys over and over and over again. You're probably repeating the same patterns. This is why women coach with me, because they're the women that coach with me are smart enough to realize that they're following a pattern that's unproductive, and it's going to eventually land them in a situation that they can no longer correct. And so if they don't get a hold of their circumstance now, they're doomed to fail. And this is why a lot of women will coach with me, because the shit I say isn't very nice, but it's the truth, and the truth will set you free. Okay? So you got to actually work on unpacking the trauma and damage that's happened. Some of those things are self-induced. You did it to yourself. Some of those things were done to you. Some of those things might go back to when you were a kid or childhood or whatever. But you have unproductive patterns, and you have baggage, and you have damage, and you're not going to fulfill that hole with another penis. All you're going to do is transfer the same crap from one thing to another, okay? But that's what I mean. What you're doing is you're replacing emotion. The guy doesn't fucking matter. The guy could be a high-value guy or a bag of fucking garbage. It doesn't matter, because you're filtering. Here's where the trap is for a female, okay? Your filter system works like this. You process. You look at that dude, okay? You process it like this. Goes through your hindbrain drive first, okay? So there's things that are attractive and unattractive. Goes through the hindbrain driver. Then it goes through your bucket of experiences or your unconscious mind. Things from your past. Your behavioral reactions, really, to things in the past will dictate or direct your behavior and responses to things in the present. And so that's that unconscious mind. So it goes hindbrain or instinctual, mammalian brain, unconscious, and then the next thing it passes through if you're a female is emotions. All right, so now when you have an emotional void from a breakup, this emotional volatility is so high, you're just wanting to replace those feelings, and it doesn't matter the guy that you put in there. So what you do is you replace it with any piece of trash out there. Maybe it's the best piece of trash you could find, but you just replace it. And then you logic and reason it out afterwards, because see, the pathway is mammalian brain, unconscious mind, emotions, then logic. Women, you are capable of being logical. You are smart. However, it does follow this pathway or pattern. For guys, it goes logic first, then emotion, unless there's a trauma. Okay, so different for how guys process. Now, this emotional intelligence has made you very valuable in social situations and can come in handy a lot, but it can also hinder or handicap you when you're trying to select a mate, especially if there's a void that's left behind from a breakup. Okay, so all you're doing is you're literally a drug addict, okay, who is looking for that next hit. And it doesn't matter. Eventually, you just take the hit. It's only a matter of time. You go a week, another week, no dick, no feelings, no feels, no dick, okay? And eventually, you finally go, because it's not about just dick. It's not about just getting off. You can buy a toy for that, right? It's about the feelings of being with somebody that follows the dick, okay? That is what you're chasing. And so you go 4 weeks in, and then 5, 6, and finally you break down, and this piece of trash that's been paying attention to you ends up in your vagina. All right, and then you rationalize how he's a great guy, and oh, I feel so wonderful. I feel like the happiest girl in the world when I'm with this, recovering drug addict that, has, works, unskilled trades and has money problems and, all kinds of issues and looks like trash. So I'm just throwing examples out there of shit that happens, okay? It's, or this abusive guy or this guy, that guy, whatever it may be, You're just sort of, you're replacing the feelings because you need the drug hit, and then you rationalize the guy. This is why rebound relationships are far more common for females than males. Females are lining up their rebound relationships, in fact, in the current relationship they're in. When the relationship is starting to fail, they start to line up that rebound. They start to look outward for that cheating opportunity. They might not actually cheat, but they'll line that up right to the point, and then they'll break up, and then they just have to explore this other person, rationalize. They have to make sure, see if he's the one, and then they throw their pussy at him to see what happens. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. This isn't esoteric. This isn't a spiritual experience. This is your bullshit. All right? This is your hindbrain driving bullshit that causes you to do more bullshit. You're damaging your fucking guys out there, and you're damaging yourself, because guess what? If I see a pattern of that shit as a high value male, I'm not going to fucking be around you. If I don't see some inkling of you being a better person from your mistakes in the past, you're gonna go. You can go find some trash, because I'm not that guy. I'm a high value guy who I would rather be by myself and just date around than be in a committed situation with somebody who doesn't work on themselves, and who's somebody who is going to take all of her trauma and her baggage and leave it in my fucking living room because she doesn't want to do the work to be better, because she's not emotionally strong enough just to work on her shit and be by herself and actually mate select somebody that's worth a shit versus just trying to replace the last boyfriend. Okay, so a lot of things I say are pretty harsh, but I say it for a reason, because I want you to be happy. Ladies, I want you to find the guy for you, in that I want you to be happy when you find that guy. But if you're filled with crap and trauma and baggage and damage and bad behaviors, bad habits that you're not addressing or fixing, and all you're doing is just like a freaking crack addict, going from guy to guy, you're not going to be happy. And every guy you mate switch to, you're going to fuck that guy up every single time, you know? And then, of course, where are all the good men? Where have all the good men gone? All right? Now, there's plenty of things that guys do to fuck themselves up. They certainly don't need your help to do that, but you're not helping them. All right? So you're a half of the equation here, and it takes two, you know what I mean? We're males and females, and certainly there are things that y'all can do. So that's the advice. All right, someone tried to call in, but get past my do not disturb. That's the advice, all right? Don't just replace emotions. Don't just replace the last person and take all your trash and baggage from relationship to relationship. And working on yourself, by the way, isn't just getting a bunch of validation from a bunch of dudes and talking and regurgitating your problems and, you know, whatever you do, then crying over sad songs and then saying, I think I'm fixed now. Okay? Get fucking help. Some of you guys are so jacked. You need coaching, you need therapy, you need some actual work to get deep in there and start pulling out all the bad shit and getting better, you know? But it takes a smart person to do that. And that's another thing for you guys. Intelligence is important. And that'll be my next video maybe too. But intelligence is important when you select a female. A female with a lower processing, lower IQ, is going to be emotionally and hindbrain driven primarily, and she cannot self-correct because she's just not fucking smart enough. A dumb girl is not smart enough to steer her future to get where she wants to go and to achieve things and to be in the right place. So what do you think is going to happen if she's not feeling emotionally drawn to you, if her hindbrain tells her to do something else 2, 3, 5 years into your relationship? What's she going to do? She's just going to respond to that hindbrain. Alpha Chad comes along, or Kevin from sales, and she ends up, you know, banging him in the parking lot at lunchtime while she's in a relationship with you. That's what she's going to do if she's not feeling great about you because you've been arguing for a few months. You see what I mean? A dumb girl is driven by her instincts because she's too stupid to make the fucking decision to steer those instincts in a productive way. The women that coach with me are not stupid. Okay, because they're seeking help and they're trying to actually understand themselves. Women, there's a lot of smart women out there. Guys, pick those, okay? You pick the dumb girl and you're going to be subject to the stupid shit that she's going to do to you. You'll have to be on all the time in an LTR, long-term relationship. And the second or two you're not 100% on, she is like, it's like, you know, she's like a goldfish with her memory, and everything that happens, and she just drifts off to the next thing. Now, I'm not saying you get relationship equity with any woman, okay, regardless of intelligence. If you're failing to perform over time, every woman will leave you. However, a smarter woman will be able to have some principles and steer that hindbrain a little bit better and steer those emotions a little bit better to at least stick it out so you can fix yourself. You know what I mean? Even if it takes a few months. Versus a dumb girl who will just goldfish her ass away and drift off to the next, you know, opportunity. So don't be driven and addicted to the emotional fix. Actually plan your life out. Actually use that fucking brain you have and start to make yourself better. Okay? That goes for guys and women, guys and girls, both of you. Some of you guys do the same thing I'm saying that the girls do. All right? Don't do that shit. If you have a breakup, put it towards something productive. Work on yourself so the next person you get blows the last chick you were hung up on out of the water. Wow. Wouldn't that be the thing to do? Same with you, ladies. Wouldn't you want to find a high-value man that blows that last relationship or the previous one that got fucked up out of the water? Wouldn't you want to find that? Instead of just finding a guy that you argue to yourself is that. Women have a wonderful way of rationalizing their own bullshit. and I watch it all the time. And then you know what? They're coming to me, or they're coming to another coach, or they're coming to YouTube or some book 5-7 years into the relationship because they settled with a guy that wasn't their best. And now they're confused and they are in love with him, but they love him, but they're not in love with them. And now what do I do? Because I rationalize how great he was for the first couple years. All right? Don't do that shit. Listen, you don't deserve a fucking thing. You only get what you negotiate and what you work for. Okay? So put in the work and you'll have that happiness that you want. Make yourself a person that's deserving of it. Just simply replacing emotions, that's not what's going to cut it. All right. Thanks for tuning in.